All right, well, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Unplugged. Today, I am here with Director of Communication Technology, Jason Smith. What's up, Jason?
Not much. It's good to be here, Jacob. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, man, you doing all right? I feel like I don't see you as much because you're always out in the field working hard, and I don't see you because of that, because you're always out there doing awesome things. So
we are out and about. Quite a few, customers. This is a busy time of the year too, but keeping things rolling, for RidgeLink, as well. We've got, a couple of big projects going on right now, so that's keeping us busy too. So.
And speaking of, just kind of giving people some background about you personally, when did you come to Blue Ridge? What's your involvement, as far as your role, your role specifically? What do you do, for people who haven't met you before?
Sure. I came 2015, and, I've been here about 8 years. April, I think, was actually my 8-year anniversary. Came in as a communication technician, and a lot of that, came from the military. I did communications, navigation systems. I did that type of work in the military. So I was also a trainer as well. So that was a direct, it was easy for me to transition to this job. And then, of course, we went to communication systems analyst. And, I did a little time there, and then, of course, moved up to manager of, fiber optic. As well as, on the communication side, we did things like supervisory control and data acquisition, our SCADA systems and two-way radios and mountaintop radios of all, we've got several different types of those. So, and then manage those systems as well. So kind of keeping that total communication technology going throughout Blue Ridge. And of course, we have internal members as well as external members. We try to take care of the linemen and their communication out in the field. So, those things are important for safety and for, restoration, things of that nature. So, and of course, they take care of our members. And then move more, like I said, into the fiber optic side of the business, which was unique. I knew a little bit about it going through school. So
right.
That was kind of interesting, to just roll into it. And then I've had some great mentors, and we share knowledge back and forth. We bring some from the military experience as well, leadership, that kind of stuff. So I think it was a natural fit for a cooperative. Again, it's kind of, for me, it's feeling like I'm a part of something that's bigger than myself. And that's the whole point. And that's the reason I went in the military to begin with. So, but bringing those skills here and then being able to utilize, it's exciting to us. I mean, we have a good time out there. So,
and that's awesome. And I feel like it's probably cliche for me to say, but that kind of speaks to cooperatives as a whole. It's a team environment, but even more so than a team environment, it's a family environment.
Absolutely.
And we're always there for each other, and we're always learning and getting new skills that way. And you kind of touched on this a little bit through what you do, but specifically to members who maybe they've heard this name before, but they don't know the specifics, or maybe they don't quite understand. What is RidgeLink? Who is RidgeLink?
So RidgeLink is unique. It's a company that was started back. The company was started back in 2009, but what happened was, I know they had run some fiber, and a lot of the folks were pushing, the fiber technology, because it is the best way really that you can get, communication devices, back and get that data back that you need, that important data. Also, it's a secure way to do it as well. So if you own your fiber network, then you're in control of that network. You're not relying on somebody else. So, and again, cooperatives, it's a natural fit for them. We own the poles, we own the pole lines. So, why would you not run your own fiber? So, but in order to, I think something that they kind of noticed when they were doing that was the fact that, hey, we're putting, we can put extra fiber out here, and, hey, we could offer it to other folks, and sell that to what we call dark fiber, to customers that want to get through our area. So, with that in mind, RidgeLink was pretty much came to fruition, and they began in 2009, and it's basically a telecom provider. So, it's a telecom service. We don't provide lit service only to ourselves, but we do We do work with others though to do and provide that lit service. So, but with that, I mean, it's kind of grown, exponentially through our whole system. I know we're putting one of our last substations on fiber optic cable. So, for us, that kind of brings it all together, and it gives us the best line of communication. A lot of our fiber is, a lot of these areas or substations are in bad places. I mean, they're places that it's hard to get radio frequency to, or, cellular network or cellular service or, radio service to those areas. So again, fiber is the best fit for those. So, when we're talking about reliability, fiber is pretty much king, to us. And if it's cut, we just go out there and we burn it back together, and it's good to go. So, a huge asset, and also for the customer that's outside the service, where they're allowed to go through our system. So, being in the area we are, there's not a lot of most fiber, or a lot of the fiber that's built is built underground. Well, for us, that's not really, that's hard for us because we have a lot of rock in our territory. So moving through our area, it's better to find somebody that has dark fiber, and it's a lot easier for the customer to be able to utilize that fiber that way. So it works out for us and it works out for them, and we can make profit, and we can pull that profit back over into the as a net benefit to Blue Ridge Electric. So,
yeah, that's what I was going to hit on, is that it's really a marriage of two great things. You're providing an essential service, business to business in the area, economically, but you're also too providing that net benefit, made by RidgeLink back to the members to help keep rates as low as possible. So it's definitely a net benefit there all around. So fiber is kind of, I want to say, been a buzzword of sorts. I feel like most people know what fiber is, in the grand scheme of things. But if I'm at home and I'm trying to understand, especially as it's been in the spotlight nationally now more than ever, about the broadband disconnect across the country at this point, which is an issue in our area and many rural areas across the country. So if I'm at home, what makes fiber so special versus maybe like standard internet service that you would get otherwise? What's kind of the big difference or the big deal? Fiber
right now is probably one of the best services that you can have. If you have fiber optic to your home, you're going to have the opportunity to have some of the fastest bandwidth, meaning that, you can download more pages, you can upload, more photos, you can, watch, more TV, you can do more work from home. That's a big thing. And also school, the kids have access. They have, instant access to things they need, in order to complete their school projects. But that over cable's pretty close to fiber, but fiber has grown, exponentially in the speeds in which you can have that service. Us having, over, we have around 600 miles of fiber. That kind of opened the door to us because, as you said earlier, these are rural areas. They're really tough to get to. These are hard builds. We do things like clear right-of-way, so we make sure that trees don't fall over on our electrical system. Well, if we put that fiber on those poles, that same poles that we have in the electric system, and the right-of-ways are clear, then we're going to have less damage also to the fiber. But it just opens up a lot of doors to folks. The big thing, working from home, that's been huge, I know, the past few years, and it really allows people to move to these areas. They might have had a cabin here for many years, and they couldn't do anything with it because they didn't have service.
Right.
And they weren't connected to the rest of the world, so to speak. But it allows them to be able to do that, and if they want to work from the cabin, they can work from the cabin. So, but we're suited to do that type of work in that type of terrain. We know the terrain very well, also to maintain those networks as well. We have the mentality of the electric co-op. So, if something breaks, we get out there as quick as we can, let them fix the electric first, and then we repair the fiber after. So
we really are suited for it in this area. And, if you live in this area, you obviously know, and if you don't live in this area, how would you even describe it? It's very mountainous, but it could be anywhere from 1,000 feet above sea level to 5,000 feet above sea level pretty quick.
That's correct.
And everything in between. I mean, it goes up and down. It's rugged. It's very hard to get location to location. There's a lot of hiking that's involved in working at Blue Ridge Energy if you're out in the field.
That's right.
But that you brought up an important point about people going to remote work, students trying to learn from home, and the pandemic really exposed that, I guess to say, in rural communities, you know, the broadband divide and not having quality internet access. And we stepped in. So do you want to talk about that partnership a little bit, the last couple of years, and what we've done to help out with the broadband divide in our area?
Absolutely. One of the struggles that you have, and I know other co-ops, they're also seeing this struggle as well, is, you know, we don't have the infrastructure to have the service that, you know, to light the service. But we can focus on construction and then getting that out there. So if you partner with a telecommunication company, and for us, you know, Skyline Skybest was, you know, made the most sense. They're in our area. They serve our folks the way we do. But if you partner with them, then they can light the service, and that's what they do, and that's what they're staffed to do. So it is the most efficient. And then if you have a good partnership with them, of course, you know, they're over most of our territory. You know, it creates just a good relationship. And I think it gives also, you know, it gives really good quality as far as service to our members as well. They operate in our same, you know, areas. So for us, that was kind of a no-brainer, and it really worked. It's funny. We went after several, it allowed us to go after several grants. I know the original Reconnect grant that we went after, and the folks from DC knew that this was an issue, but we were trying to partner at that time, and that's 3 or 4 years ago, to get a particular grant and identify the problem with, hey, it's not set up for us to partner with a telecom who is, you know, that's what they're used to doing, lighting, and we know they will provide good service, and we know we can build fast, you know, we can build the fiber fast. So they made some changes, and then we rolled into the next year or so and found NCDIT, the GREAT grant, which is a state-funded grant, which was easier for us to work with, and then they allowed us to work with a partner. So opened up, you know, a lot of doors. We started with the Caldwell grant, you know, and we that's about 100 miles of fiber in the Happy Valley area, Patterson,
Wow,
Buffalo Cove Road.
I didn't realize it was that much, you know, mileage wise.
Well, it's 100 miles of fiber. So, and that counts all the little side, you know, roads and things that we added in that area, but it is a good bit of cable mileage, if you will.
And I don't want to interrupt you, but that you know, I fish a lot in that area. I've spent a lot of time in that area hiking around, and you really, to understand the undertaking of that and to have an appreciation for it, you'd have to go out there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a beautiful area, but it's a rugged area. I'd say it's one of the more rugged areas that we serve in the entire our 5-6 county service area. I mean, it's really rugged, deep valleys, really tall ridge tops.
Absolutely.
Not a lot of infrastructure there already. So that was really impressive. I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but it's giving context on that area where we started out the GREAT grant.
It is. And I want to add too that, you know, the county, Caldwell County, also got involved with this as well. And, you know, we appreciate all the effort to put that together and make it happen for the members. You know, I know now we passed a little over 400 homes, but I think the take rate is around 50 to 60% right now. So out of that, so we're 200 plus homes that actually took the service, which is good to see as well. You know, that's what we expected, but so, you know, but it's there for the rest of them if they want. It's the way it was engineered and designed. And if another household in that area wants it and they don't have it, they have access. So.
And then we moved up into Watauga County, right, with the next phase of it. So what did that look like? You know, as far as the connections go, did you just follow, you know, the connection you had right there in Caldwell and then go up, or how did that work out?
They're actually two different designs. So what we have to do to get a grant is identify areas that are underserved or not covered by any other type of broadband. I know one of the biggest ones around here is Spectrum. But these areas just, they weren't covered. I mean, So what we had to do is go and identify these areas using FCC information, which is some online mapping for showing coverage, and you can punch in your address. It's kind of unique. You can go online and look at it, but you go on there and identify the areas, and then it had to pretty much be mapped out, and then we gave that information back to the folks that are administering the grant. And again, everything has to be vetted. So if Spectrum or AT&T pretty much said that, hey, we've got this area over here, then we weren't allowed to necessarily serve any folks in that area. And I think it's important to mention that, because that's, we get a lot of questions.
That's a challenge we face.
Why can't you serve us? We don't like so-and-so, or we just like a different service. After the grant is finished, though, and the infrastructure is built, then of course, those folks can be served as well. So, looking toward Watauga, the terrain is even worse. I mean, those areas that were identified in Powderhorn, Triplet areas, Wildcat, you got Aho in the Blackberry area. Some of those areas that weren't served. And then also, I think we had an area kind of north, and we looked, for different locations. And then the Castle Ford area also, which is taken by Skyline, is actually serving those folks. So we're building the infrastructure for 4 phases in Watauga right now.
Wow.
And it's going very well. And we're getting to the point to where we almost are able to serve those customers, or Skyline's able to serve, with their electronics. So we're just providing the highway for them to do so.
And you brought up an important point about the highway, and that's something I want to touch on too, is that we're not doing the home, direct to home connections. We're laying out trunk fiber, and then we're partnering with Skyline Skybest, who's then coming in from that trunk fiber and bringing it to the home directly. So it really is a great partnership and synergy there between 2 local companies.
It is. It's been really amazing working with Skyline. I mean, it's like we've always worked together. It's very surprising. It's not surprising to me. It's a lot easier than I thought it would be.
Yeah, just to mesh together.
Mesh together.
That's awesome.
We kind of have the same, mindsets, and again, I couldn't have asked for a better, partner in Skyline Skybest.
So, we talked about the Great Grant. We've talked about your role. And what would you say in your role has been the most rewarding part or rewarding project you've worked on? I think I know what the answer is going to be, but I want to hear it from you anyways.
With the Great Grant, well, any of the grants, my mom and dad, actually, they were in a position down in South Carolina where, he's just now getting internet access himself. And, that was a struggle for him. So, and of course, I tried to help him. We tried all kind of different things, satellite, but for me, though, moving through the pandemic, and then being a part of the design process in Caldwell, working with the county in Watauga, I think that's just been the most amazing part to me, because seeing these partnerships and folks working together, and seeing what happened in the pandemic and people didn't have access, that was a big deal to us. And even us, we work from home, some of us couldn't work from home because we didn't have, high-speed internet access.
I was trying to edit these podcasts on 3 megs per second. If you ever try to edit a podcast video on 3 megs per second, it was pretty terrible. Rough. But it improved extremely halfway through the pandemic, because we were about to riot in the neighborhood for better internet service. But anyways, all things got better. But yeah, you're right. Absolutely. It really is. And one of my favorite parts about this, and a good way to wrap it up too, is, we've got a whole generation of people that are getting older, and we're starting to lose their stories of, well, I was here when the lights first came on. The electric cooperative, they can tell the electric cooperative story too still. And I think it's cool, because now we've got a whole new generation of, I was there when we didn't have internet, and now we do. And we could do all these things that we had to drive somewhere, spend time in the library, spend time in the McDonald's parking lot or something like that to get homework done. And now that gap is being bridged. And I think that's awesome, and what a great thing to be part of,
Absolutely. I agree. It's been a great opportunity.